Hey lovers, welcome back to the Inner Sanctum. On this latest episode from the Sell on Rising podcast, we're talking about the difference between scaling a business and growing a business. At least what our take on those two terms mean, especially for people in our industry. So if this is something that you've been thinking about, if you want to try and outsource something but you're not sure where to start, this is going to be a great podcast for you to listen to. Remember to like and subscribe, follow us on all platforms, and we really hope that you enjoy the information we have to share with you today. Thanks so much. Enjoy. Hey girl.
What's up, man?
Welcome back.
We just had this big debate about whether we actually still video ourselves doing this because no one likes to watch ourselves on video.
No, it's horrible.
I realized how tired I was last week. I still feel tired this week, but last week, exceptionally like...
There's nothing like having a video record of how tired you're feeling.
Nothing.
It's like, whoa.
If you guys are watching, all the more power to you. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But if you're listening, just keep telling us you're listening so Rich doesn't make us video it anymore.
I know. And then how comfortable would people be if we videoed like lying in bed? Like, is that something you'd be on board with? Just checking. Let us know.
Also no makeup. Like it's getting real and actual raw that we just lie in bed and hold a microphone to our mouth while we talk shit.
I do feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like especially this is like less and less makeup anyway. It's like, I might just put a little mascara on, you know.
It's getting less.
Yeah.
It's like when we first started, it's like full on photo shoot.
Yeah, because
ready.
we knew we were being filmed, right?
Now we're like zero shits given.
Yeah.
So if you're watching, I apologize.
Yeah. And also, you know, it was a motherhood episode and being really tired is what it equates to, being a mother.
True.
Also, I have to say, just a little like side note before we get started today, I actually implemented one of your things that you talk about this morning, one of the strategies.
I was like, shit, which one is that?
So I just with my horrible teenagers that won't get out of bed but won't go to bed at night and just can't
Sticker
get out the
chart?
door. Not a sticker chart, but that my speech was, you know, I need you to come up with the solution of how we can move forward with this, because I can't keep driving you to school because you didn't make it to the train. But knowing that you won't do what I ask you to do, think on it today, and tonight we meet to see what you've decided will change this situation for us.
I feel like we should take the videos and the cameras to Jen's house. And
I know.
Like, dun, 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 dun. What did they decide? They're like, fuck it, we decide we're homeschooling, we're not going anymore.
No, I am not about that life.
Well,
I can't.
They could come up with whatever they want with this. But
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
So
I have no idea what we're talking about.
as always, just on the fly.
On the fly, always.
So this time it's another kind of strategy episode that we're doing today.
Crap. Yeah, cool.
No. It's totally
She's like,
fine.
it's strategy. Make sure you're completely organized for something that I don't know was happening. Cool, let's go.
No, you don't need to know because it's things you do all the time.
On the fly.
I just want to talk about delegating, okay? Because I think this is something that people get really confused about. So what to delegate. And I think it would be great if we spoke into a little bit about the difference between scaling and growing.
Yeah, cool. So I heard this very, very clever woman, Laura McLeod, said this at a conference that I went to, and she spoke about scaling versus growing. And I found it to be incredibly clever when she said it.
It's really profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow her. She also comes up with some hilarious, like her Instagram brings me much joy.
Really?
She's a very special woman that put on a retreat that I went to, and it was incredible. She's a very, very, very clever woman, used to own a very big business. So she went from growing to scaling and then ended up just selling it on the fly, decided she'd had enough and sold it. And then she did some education. She actually would be a cracker to get on here. I should get her on.
Yeah, that's now that you're saying that, that is such a great guest to get on.
Yeah, she's an awesome woman. So yeah, she said that at a retreat, and it just kind of was like, oh, that makes so much sense when she said it to where people are at with the different things in their life. So for her, she said that growing means that the business is growing. You are more so the main person in the business. You're getting really busy. So you need people behind you to help support you. So maybe she said when she was growing, her first person that she hired was a full-time receptionist.
Okay.
Which would never be a thought for me, because I would be like,
Yeah.
But it makes complete sense. If you want to be on the floor and you want to be booming your business and you don't want to do any of the back stuff,
Yeah.
then you hire someone to do all the back stuff and you can do more hair. Yeah, it makes so much sense because you think about all the stuff that you have to do as a business owner. If you're also self-employed, if you're also doing it all on your own, like it's a lot. Like
Yeah.
you almost move out of working for somebody and then you have to do all the shit work as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
While trying to grow your business. It's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah. So she hired that. So it's more so about growing your business, but having people behind you to support you in that growth.
In terms of like the types of people that you would hire if you were growing, so we've got like a full-time receptionist. What are some of the other things you would look at delegating if you were growing a business?
Probably like a salon assistant.
Right.
So again, maybe not so much a apprentice, or if you're in the beauty, maybe just someone that can be there to back you up with clients, can provide that extra level of service, could potentially still do some of the service but not all of the service.
So you're still mainly hands-on.
Yes.
If you're growing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how this is how I perceive it.
Yeah.
When you're growing, it's more so, if you're growing and you're able to charge more and you're able to, do like more of that. You think about someone in our industry, say Jay Edwards.
Yep.
If he wanted to be on the floor full time and not scale his business and just grow it, and he could charge and charge and charge and charge. He's got a very good name. He can charge and charge as much as he wants, but he would need people behind him to run the socials, to run his reception, to run his life, to maybe salon assistants to be able to rinse and stuff like that, but not necessarily scale the business more. It's just to grow within his business.
So those are some important people. Okay, so in terms of growing, some of the people you can look at, a receptionist, a social media person,
a salon assistant, someone that's not, you don't have to train to move up, but someone that's, a cleaner. You could hire a cleaner.
What about a bookkeeper?
Definitely.
Yep.
One rule for me with bookkeeping is I never delegate what I don't know how to do.
Interesting.
So when you talk about delegating, I never delegate a job I don't know how to do first. So I see a lot of businesses out there and ones that I work with who delegate to a bookkeeper but don't actually know why, what, how they, because there's instances, and we had this on our last masterclass, where you'll have a bookkeeper and an accountant and they don't speak the same language. The accountants can say, and you can claim some things, the bookkeeper will say you can't. So it's kind of like a little bit tricky. So I always say the most important thing, I do all my own books. I always have. It works for me. I can do it quite efficiently. Things like Xero it's so incredible.
Yeah.
Could I potentially outsource it? Yes, but I still feel like I would be having just as much of a conversation about the things that they're doing.
So it's not saving you any time because you're still having to pass the information on.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something that I won't look at down the track, but for me right now it works for me. Again, when it comes to paying wages, if I had to say to a bookkeeper, these are the hours, these are the things I had off, this is how I want this done, this is the bonuses, this is like, I would just be relaying, I may as well just do it myself.
It'd be different if it was like, this is just what it, like if you had a business where nobody got bonuses, they were just getting paid the same.
Yeah, but then you can just set that up automatically.
And then you can set it up automatically. Yeah, exactly right. That's interesting. Hey, so that's something
for me, and not everyone's like this. Like a lot of people have bookkeepers and love them. A lot of my friends have bookkeepers and love them. For me personally, I don't mind doing my books, and I can lie in bed and watch a movie and be reconciling my Xero at the same time.
Yeah.
And I understand my Xero, I understand my numbers. But I don't like to outsource unless I know what I'm doing. So even with someone, if they were coming in and you wanted a receptionist, it's like first really get clear on what that role looks like, on what you need, making sure that you're like writing down everything that you expect from them, because it gets really tricky. You put someone in that role and you expect them to know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. You don't know how you want it done. So it's like before you hire, get really clear
on what you actually
need.
And then sometimes you find that what you thought you needed isn't actually what you need.
I've had that before.
Yeah.
I hired a receptionist and it didn't work the way she needed it or the way I needed it. And that's okay too. And what I ended up doing was when she left, I ended up getting another full-time senior, and then Tegan could sit more into her role.
So with that though, would that be scaling? So, okay, before we go too far into that.
So that's a growth. That's growing. Like it's growing your business. You're still able to make more money, but it's not. And you're also outsourcing so that you're not taking it all on board yourself, because trying to do all those hats, you'll burn out.
Yeah.
Then scaling is if you want a bigger business, as in more people in your business. So scaling would be getting more staff, like more senior stylists or apprentices that you have to train, or beauty therapists, or, it's scaling is to create a bigger team.
Yeah.
Where you generally then need to come off the floor a lot more and be leading your team.
So here's a question that's just popped into my head. If you were to be running a business where people were renting the space from you rather than working for you, is that scaling or is that
They
growing?
were renting space off.
Yeah. So say you have like a lash studio and you have your chair that you're working in that you use, but instead
that would
what
still
would be the difference?
That would still be growing.
That would be growing?
Because scaling, so growing, you have the capabilities of you building it, but just making that little bit extra.
Yeah.
Scaling means that you can have other people that work for you that then also finance. That, you know what I mean? So growing, yes, you've got other little incomes that are coming in that are helping. You can charge more because you're booked out. You have maybe a receptionist that helps you. You can rent out rooms. All of that's like this great it's growing. It's great. This is how, again, I take it. It's, growing your little business within that. Scaling is, you look at Jay Edwards, for example, again, he scaled his business massively.
Yeah.
He's gone from one salon to he has many. That's a huge scaling of a business.
Yeah.
It's scaled right up.
I think even for him, he's kind of both, really, isn't he? Because he would have had to grow and outsource things as things got bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
But each
and I think
individual business,
you would grow and then you would start. It's just deciding where do you want to be. Do you want a big team And I also think a lot of the times we think that success comes from having 20 on a team.
Yeah.
And it's not. Success is what it looks like for you.
Yeah.
If you love being on the floor, but you just need some help, doesn't mean that you can't be wildly successful.
Yeah.
You just find the help in the ways that you need the help. If your love is managing people and you I'd love to have a big team so I can support them and love them and grow, and that's amazing too. Doesn't mean that one makes way more money than the other. It can, but doesn't necessarily mean that either. And it also comes with a lot of different pressures on both sides. If you're happy to do it all yourself, but you get sick or you want to have holidays, it gives you pressure.
Yeah.
If you scale up and you have lots of staff, you have to deal with having lots of staff.
And they get sick or want to have holidays. It gives you pressure.
It gives you pressure on both sides.
Yeah.
So it's just more so, taking a minute, really working out where you want your business to be. What do you want to be doing within your business? A couple of years ago, if you had said to me, you have to be off the floor, I would have said no way. For years I said no way.
For years you said no way.
No way. For years. I was like, no, because I love being with people. But now that I have Salon Rising, I still love doing hair. I love being in the salon and getting to do hair with my humans. I got to do that this week with Michaela and it was just so fun, just doing hair with her rather than, me doing it all the time. But I'm very lucky because when I get to do hair, it's just with my clients that I've had forever and I don't book anyone else and I love it. But Salon Rising gives me the other side. So again, even if you look at Salon Rising as an example for a business, it doesn't just have to be hair. Salon Rising is growing. It's not scaling.
Yeah.
So I am obviously the principal mentor in Salon Rising. We don't want any other mentor. If we had more mentors, we'd be scaling the business.
Okay. Yes.
But if you look at growing, there's still three of us. There's still you that do your job and Rich does his job and then I just mentor. I couldn't anyway grow this business if I didn't have you and Rich to do what you and Rich do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
that's a really good point actually.
Yeah.
I really like that.
So I grow this business and I have you and Rich to grow the business with me and we grow in our little way.
Yeah.
But if we was to scale, we'd be adding more mentors. But we don't want to add more mentors.
Yeah.
We are just in this growth of growing within our little, I have people that do stuff I don't do.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Okay. So in terms of outsourcing, this is one that I find really interesting. Outsourcing your social media.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that one?
Again, though, I think it's each to their own. I think if I could find someone that was absolutely
because it
gangster at
must
it,
be hard
I
to
would
get
do it
someone
in a
who
heartbeat.
could
Yes.
who could present what
you're thinking.
you visualize.
Yeah.
Right.
But I know that, someone's told me, I don't actually know, but I'm pretty sure that Boho in Perth, she has a social media person. And her social media is exceptional.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. So again, if you found someone like that, fucking go for it. Like, it's a great idea. Again, I got too much control. And again, if anyone is like that, please hit me up. Like, I would love the social media. And it's one of those things. I was like super inspired by it. Now I'm kind of tired again. So it's like
I don't think people understand the amount that needs to go into managing social media and providing.
And I run 3 pages.
Yeah, providing content for social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And understanding what people want and the time that goes into it. And if I found someone that was gangster, I would 100% hire someone to look after all pages so I could breathe.
But do you agree that that's not something you could ever completely let your hands go of? You know what I mean? Like,
I think if someone was in this industry and like moved into that and then knew how to do it and was in your salon, like almost for me, social media would have to be like, if I ever hired a PA, I would hire someone that was in social media. So like that's one of the things I've spoken to Rich about is like, I'd love to have someone that could just create content constantly and I don't have to do shit and they know how to do it and they can really see it against all pages.
Yeah.
100% would be so valuable, but they're also not easy to find.
And I feel like that's something that's going to be growing in the years to come, right? Like this is something that now people are realizing that is something that people need.
People
that's
have
the way.
social media people for their weddings.
Yeah.
People that come and do content for their weddings.
Yeah.
So like take fun videos and for TikTok and Instagram and all the things. But yeah, I would 100% get on that if I found the right person because it is exhausting and you can feel passionate about it. But again, it's like posting at the right time. So for me, just so everyone gets a look into my life, I obviously have 3 children.
Yeah.
So I get up in the morning. I'm very blessed. I have my son and my girls sleep till about 7, which is perfect for my life. I don't want it to get light because I like my sleep. I get up with them, do breakfast, do lunches, do all the things, get them ready, drive my girls to school. And then if my nanny's here, she's here with my son, but she's not here today. So then I came back, cooked a loaf of sourdough, and then I get on the phone. So then I'm on the phones. I had a program this morning. Straight after the program, I had a call and then we've got podcast recording. Then I leave here and then I go pick up my girls.
Yeah.
And then I spend my afternoon with my girls. So my girls, one of my daughters has got dance. I've got to take the dog to the vet. And then come nighttime, it is like, so then from 5 o'clock Wilder eats. So Wilder eats at 5. Him and Alba every night have a bath together because they love it. At 5:30, he has a bottle by 6:15 and he's in bed. And then I also do the kids' dinner, the girls' dinner in between that. And then generally I have about half an hour, and that half an hour I tidy up. But I also, before the girls have books and stuff with me, I generally have from about 6:30 till 7 where I'm like, if I'm going to post, this is where I'm going to post.
Where you're going to do it, yeah.
And I know I've explained my whole day for you guys, but just so you see, like that's, and then generally posts take longer than that. So sometimes I get it in and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Like if you can pre-plan it, social media, I definitely say to my clients, like if you have time, try and pre-plan or post as much as you possibly can so it's all sitting in your drafts.
Yeah. So when you get that window,
you just
boom.
Post.
Yeah.
Or when you think, oh, that would be a good one, you do it. Like luckily yesterday afternoon I did that one about play. I was hanging out with the kids, having a great time, took a quick video, loved that little soundbite and thought play because that was my afternoon yesterday with my kids. So it is just like you can't post it too early. Otherwise it's, so there's a lot of moving parts. So yes, if you could outsource it and find an amazing human, do it. Do I necessarily recommend doing it with a big social media company? I would probably say personally no, because I would need someone that was super intimate to my businesses to understand what I need.
Because of it being a service-based industry, right? Like I think it's different if you're like a corporation and you just sort of need someone who's dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Yeah.
But with the hair and beauty industry, it's so personal.
So personal.
You want to be making a personal connection with people.
Agreed.
With your social media.
Agreed.
And it's hard. And we've spoken about this before, you can see, like, even for me, if I'm looking up a cafe,
Yep.
I don't look at their page, I look at their tags. Because that's the real, like the real things that people have. Yep. Whereas sometimes when you look at a page and it's super curated, it's like, this doesn't feel real.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah. That was a little off topic there.
No, agreed.
We strayed. But yeah, so, I mean, that's one that,
so you've got to be cautious, with who you're. Yeah, agreed. You've got to be cautious if you're just going to pay someone to do it and it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
You want it to be done in the right way that really feels like you. You'd probably be better to hire in that case, because you can spend $400 or $500 a week on a social media company.
Okay.
You'd probably be better to hire, some great 17, 18-year-old to be a PA, to be able to build, to be able to get them to and you teach them, but it's going to take time.
Yeah.
But that I would probably suggest more of that. Find somebody who is super keen in doing certain things like that and have them shadow you and maybe teach someone that way so that they are doing it in how you want it done.
Yeah.
But it is very personal. My social media is very personal. And not everybody likes it. Like my manager hates. Tiggs hates social media, hates doing it, hates anything to do with it. Carly, who's in salon with me, she's really great. She loves doing different things. So that's really helpful. And she loves finding little reels and stuff like that. But it's also for me making it a little bit more authentic to who we are too. Like I don't want to just copy, there's so many great hairdressers and beauty salons that are doing such funny, great reels, but I don't want to just be copying all of that all the time either.
Yeah.
But also being okay with the fact that if you guys do that, that's all right, because your social media is for your clients. Yeah. So if you see something that you're like, hilarious, my client would love that.
Yeah.
Just do it in your own way and chuck it on up. It's for your clients. Who cares? It's like, is your social media focused on your clients or are you focused on other people in the industry? Because the other people in your industry are not paying the money. Your clients are paying the money. So your social media should be based around what your clients need. So I'm very cautious when you see people that pay clients out in their reels.
Yeah.
I would never in a million years do that. And if you've done it, be conscious on that because
your clients
it's
are watching it.
And it's hilarious because we all talk about, when a client shows up and they're like, I'm so sorry, I'm running so late. And they've got a hot cup of coffee and you're like, but you make fun of that and that client feels like the victim.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing if we've had a week where there's heaps of no-shows or we've had a situation, I generally won't post about that week because it will feel raw for those clients.
Yeah.
So I'll wait a couple of weeks and then post.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just being conscious and cautious of your clients.
Okay, so socials. So we've looked at what? Bookkeeping, socials. I think the PA is kind of like a big game-changing aspect for potential growth, right? Mm-hmm. Because as you say, it's figuring out what you want. And sometimes I think people think they want a lot of different things, whereas just one person who could do a few of those things.
Yeah, if I could find someone who was amazing PA but also amazing in socials, I'd hire in a second just to kind of support my life in all of those areas. So, things like helping me organise the team meetings or helping me organise the different things that are going on and stuff like that. Having someone that could do that within both my businesses would be super helpful. But for me, it would be the main thing would be socials.
Okay.
And then having somebody else that could help me with all the things.
Okay. So in terms of scaling, scaling's when we're looking at actually making our physical business bigger. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at staff. Mm-hmm. So when you're making that choice to hire a new staff member, how are you planning that? Like how are you deciding, okay, well, I need someone. Do I need someone who is earning money straight away?
I think a lot of people make this decision just based off randomly.
Okay.
It's like price lists. Everyone just goes, oh, I'm going to price this like this. No one actually has the concrete, this is why I'm doing it. For me, there's so many different factors. I speak about this in Rising Finances if anyone's interested. There's a lot of different factors in that. But first of all, generally it's finances. How busy are you? How booked are you? Where's the bottom dollar sitting? Where are the finances sitting? So a lot of the time you need to make decisions based on scaling on if 50% booked, you wouldn't
be hiring someone else that you need to book.
right now. Yeah, because then you'd be I also hire knowing that if that person only covers their wage for the week, then that's all that matters. Whereas people think they need to hire and that person needs to be fully booked from the beginning.
And that's hard. How are you supposed to do that?
Exactly right. So you've got to grow them. So for me, it's like as long as they don't cost me anything, then that's fine. They'll take time to grow and that's all right.
Yeah.
So, but scaling is you've obviously got to decide what it is. But if you're fully booked and you're like, all right, I'm ready to take the next person on, you'd look at your finances, look at what you can afford, look at where it sits if they don't book, blah, 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 all those things so it makes you feel comfortable. Again, this is what I do in finance programs with people so that they feel comfortable making these decisions. And then you would start deciding on what that looks like, what type of person that is, and then start booking from there. You might want a junior that can just help you, and then obviously wages are less, or you might want someone who's a senior who is super qualified so that you can automatically start putting them on the floor. Or, it's all of those things. It's just taking into time how that grows. If you want to scale, it's just the first person I put on in the beginning was a senior. And then after she left, it was you, and you were a casual senior, and I worked full-time and you casually worked. And then it went from you and then Demi, who was a apprentice.
Yeah.
And then Demi to Kira, who was a senior. So for me, that felt good because I took an apprentice on. The apprentice could assist me. I could take more work on because she was assisting me. And then I needed another full-time senior because I was too busy and I needed someone to take more of the overflow of work. So then I took on another senior. So then it's like working out how to build based on those things.
But remember, and this is something we will have spoken about in our previous podcast, if you are taking on an apprentice because you are so busy, remember you still have to train that apprentice. You still have to be able to do that. So you have to really
get them
think
to the end of their third year and be like, okay, well, all I used you as a dignified shampoo and blow dryer.
Yeah.
So
as a lackey.
Yeah. If that's the case, maybe take on a salon assistant that you pay them a lot more.
Yeah.
But they don't, like, you could teach them basic things.
And they just
stay at that level.
That's actually what my mum did.
Oh, really?
That's how I ended up being a hairdresser.
Oh, wow.
Because mum just needed a bit of work because obviously we're on our own. And so she just went, mum could apply a tent, she could rinse foils, she could do a blow dry, but she was not going to become a hairdresser. She just needed a job that worked in with her family.
Yeah, cool.
And so, and then I just ended up working there on a Saturday to get some more money as well. And then lo and behold, 30 years later.
Your mum's the cutest. She sent me the sweetest message the other day.
I love my mum.
I love your mum. She's so funny.
She's the best.
And then she was like, sorry for the unsolicited mother advice. I was like, keep it coming, babe. I love it. Love it. She's the best.
She's a cute human.
Jen's mum lives in New Zealand and she will text Jen and be like, have you seen you've got appointments today? And Jen's like, what? Like, she just will look on our Instagram page.
She's very deep in she knows what's happening.
Love that
on
one.
all the things.
She's the tits. You're the tits, mum. Love you.
She's cute.
Yeah, so I think that it's just looking at all those different things, like outsourcing, absolutely. And again, it's things like, could you outsource a cleaner for the salon so you don't have to worry about any of those things? And I think that was something that Laura said. She was like, could you find somebody that come the end of the day, if the salon's absolutely trash, someone comes in every night for 2 hours and tidies the salon so you don't have to think about it and you just leave the salon and go home. Like, you can find people for different things like this. It's just think outside the box. What is that?
Yeah.
Like, what do you actually need?
And sometimes too, the people for that can actually already exist in your business. Like, sometimes it might just be, is there anyone who would like to work an extra half an hour each day and just pack everything down? It doesn't have to be outside of the bubble. It can be people you already have that are looking to add on to the things that they do within your business, right?
And I think if you know, again, your finances, you will hear me say time and time again, you can't make these decisions without knowing your finances.
Yeah.
You really can't, guys. Don't make decisions based on just thinking that this is what you need. You're going to need to know your finances to be able to do it. But one of the things too is if you know your finances and you think, oh, it's going to cost me $500 a week, but you're covering that and it also takes all the pressure off you.
Yeah.
And you can just walk out of your business on the right time. You can be home for your kids or just home in general where you can get some social media done. Like, all of that money is worth, if you can afford it, all of that money is worth paying.
Because we talked about this a bit in the motherhood episode as well. And I think when we, as business owners, when we think about delegating, sometimes you're only focused on the business side of things, whereas sometimes if you just delegate some stuff out of your personal life, then you'll free up the time for the business things too, right? And that's where it's, like, yeah, do you have a cleaner for the salon? Do you have a cleaner for your house? Everybody needs a cleaner for their house. Everybody does.
They're the best. Honestly, they make the life go round.
Yeah.
And it's also being gentle and okay with yourself. Like if you think you want to grow and then you get to the point where you're like, oh, I want to scale a little bit now, and then you get to that point and then you go, no, we just want to grow again. Like we're happy with our team. Let's just add some more people in to help, and now we want to scale. Like again, we'll bring back to Jay Edwards. He didn't scale overnight. Like he's been working really hard for a really long time that he's now where he is in his business. It's not overnight. None of this is overnight. Like I have, we celebrated the salon's birthday. I've been in business for 14 years. Like it didn't happen. None of this happened overnight. It's taken a really long time. It's just being slow and cautious and just working out what you need at each point, rather than going, okay, I'm going to scale my business. I'm going to go from me to 10 people in, 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to go from you to 10 people to 0 people very quickly. Like it has to take time. You have to build with complete intention.
And you have to be able to afford it. I see it so often. Oh, everyone else has got like a front desk manager. I need to get a front desk manager. It's like, you can't afford a front desk manager.
I say this to some of my clients. I'm like, I'd love to give you that, but you can't afford it. So just work harder. Again, as I said, it's not going to go if you don't want to be on the floor, but you want to build a business. Yeah. It's like, okay, you're going to have to take time being on that floor, guys. Like you're going to have to be on that floor for a while. You can't not be on the floor if you're trying to build a brand new business. Yeah. And you're trying to get it to where you want. You need to put all the procedures in place, and you put it, you start to develop the strategy of how you move forward, and you can start to put those other people in place so that you can start coming off the floor a little bit.
So would you agree then, if someone's looking for somebody like you, is that something that they're doing to grow their business?
I think, it can be both.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I could be both. 100%. You want to grow your business, you want to have support. I look after so many sole traders just on their own. Yeah. Like people think they need a mentor coach. I don't even know I don't know the difference between both. I'm both. Apparently I don't know what the difference between mentor and coach is. But anyway.
Is there a difference?
I don't know. I just think it's a word.
I think it's what people like to be called.
I think I said mentor. I say mentor because I just was like, coach feels weird.
Yeah, you're not super keen. That doesn't resonate with you.
No, more mentor does. But whatever you want to call me, I'm happy with.
Do you know what I think it is? Because I think it comes back to the way you like to be in business. To me, the coach is the person standing on the sideline yelling.
Yes.
Whereas the mentor is the person who's trying to guide you.
Yeah, the mentor is like in your intimate space, like, I love you. That's the mentor. So I'll take that role. Thanks. I prefer that role. I'm that person that's like, you've got this, and I'm going to get you through this, and we're going to move this, and this is how we're going to, and that's like, those things are such a win for me, listening to my clients jump on Voxer and say like, this is how I'm moving through this, or this is how this has happened. And it's not so much me being like on the sideline, like go then. Yeah. It's very intimate for me. So that's why I use the word mentor.
Rah. So in terms of
my energy can be that sometimes, but But I think I look after a lot of people that are just on their own, a lot of people that are just on their own. And it's about where they're at and how I can help support them and where they want to go and grow or scale, or what that looks like. Or, I've got home salons that I work with. It doesn't mean that I have to work. Having a mentor doesn't mean working. It's like, but
with loads of people.
One of my clients who you actually met, we had our Salon Rising birthday party a few weeks ago, and you met one of my clients. I'm not going to say her name because in case she doesn't want to hear it. And she works by herself. Yep. And for her, it was like working out where that wanted to be. Do you want to grow? Do you want to scale? What do you want your life to look like? And we really sat and like spoke and walked through like, what do you want life to look like? Do you want to have babies? She just got married. You want to have babies. What do you want that to look like? So it's like really like taking the time for her and I to like really process together what it looks like, what her life looks like, and then saying, like, okay, these are the different steps. And we actually mapped out and looked at all the different things and, almost went into one direction, and then we pulled back and like looked in another direction. So, and now she's you know, and she actually was one of the people that messaged and said like she's made an extra 50,000 this year. She's by herself.
Wow.
So since working with me 9 months ago, she's made an extra 50 and she works by herself.
Wow.
So
that's growing,
and
right?
if you talk to her, she will like, we should get her on the podcast one day actually, and then we'll be able to tell you who it is. She will tell you about those steps and how she was supported and how she ended up doing that. And it was all growth, but she didn't have to add anyone else to do that.
Yeah.
She just needed someone to be in her corner and to be able to like see the different pathways and help her develop those choices and see where they wanted to land. So that's why for her, like, yeah, that spending money on me was worth every penny.
Yeah.
And anytime she's had more, just like she'll be like, oh, I'm unsure about this. She'll set up a call with Rich and I'll talk to her and we'll talk through it. And then she's like clear, ready to go again. She is a person that's quite indecisive and needs to ask everyone's opinions to what she should do, and then she gets very overwhelmed.
Oh, that's so
by
weird.
it,
I'm not familiar with that feeling at all.
which is why I mentor Jen at times.
Yeah.
So having a mentor that's set specifically for like where you want to go and getting you to look at things like that is so good. Like again, guys, I work with mentors in different spaces, but being able to have someone go, okay, let's see it from these eyes, or let's look at it from this space and get out of my head a little bit. I think it's also really important that we're not, and this is something I talk about too, we're not talking to the wrong people about what we're moving through. We're not talking to our staff.
Oh, that's a big one.
We're not like hampering it onto our husbands or our partners. Our friends don't hear it full time, that no one else understands it. Whereas if you find someone within the industry, like a mentor or a coach or whatever that may be, they understand your industry more, and you can ring them and it feels like you get this like a peaceful moment of, okay, I feel so much better. Like I've worked through that with the right person.
Yeah.
Rather than just working through that and getting more heightened because no one's been able to talk me down because no one else understands it. Like,
yeah.
you know, something happens with a staff member and you go home and yell at her about your husband. Your husband's like, yeah, burn her to the ground. Like, you know, whereas your mentor will be able to be like, all right, I see it from this point of view. Like, where are you at with it? So it's having someone like that.
It's the eyes removed from the actual situation.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're in it, it's completely different.
And
so
I'll
having
have,
that
like,
setback.
sometimes I have my clients will text and say like, this happened, what do you think? And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I actually get cranky and I'm like, nope, this is how we're handling this. This is not okay. And this is how we're going to move through it. So so that they feel validated. It's also feeling validated and seen in your own business that you're doing the right thing. And sometimes it's just hard.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. So if someone, just to recap, if someone is on the fence about whether or not they are scaling or growing, what it comes down to is them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Them.
What do you want to do?
What their life, what they want their life to look like.
Yep.
And how they can make that happen.
Journal on that. Yeah. Like, what do you want for
yeah.
your life? You know, it's a lot of questions that I do with clients. Let's map some stuff out. What do we see? What do we want to like look like, you know?
Yeah.
And then what are the steps, the slow steps, a big long journey to get to that?
Yeah.
You know, it's not we're going from here to here in 8.3 seconds. It's like, let's do the steps and the journey to where we want to eventually go and where we want to eventually grow to, because you'll also, some people get to that and go, fuck, no.
Yeah.
Pull right back. I don't want any of that.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It is okay to change your mind about where you thought you wanted to go.
100%.
Because you might get there and think, oh,
no.
I'm not about that life at all.
Yeah, I'd rather just do hair. I'd rather just do brows. That would be living my best life.
Make sure you're not doing that in a burn it down moment though, because we've all been there.
Yeah, that's another thing for me is the amount of times I get messages from my clients being like, I'm selling it. And I was like, I just don't respond for 24 hours. And then I respond and go, how do you feel? And they're like, oh yeah, I was just in a moment. And then I'm like, okay, let's talk through it now.
Yeah.
You know, because so often
I laugh because I just have had so many of those phone calls
from me. I'm done. I'm selling it. It's sold. And you were like, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But again, it's having the right people around you when you say that.
Yeah.
Because when you say that and someone goes, yeah, do it. And then all of a sudden you get amped up.
And you're snowballed
like,
into it. It's like, oh, this is it. We're selling it. It's gone.
Or then the opposite. You could be like, I'm selling it. And someone be like, you're being a fucking dick. And then you're like, and then you're angry because no one's validated how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, just wait. Just talk to your mentor. Like if I do listen and I think, well, she needs me, I will jump on. But if I can give them 24 hours, normally it is like not even 24 hours. Sometimes it's like 1 hour. They're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling a bit better now. Thanks. I talked to that person. I feel fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And we want to remember that if we are outsourcing, don't outsource something that you don't know how to do.
Unless it's things like
Cleaning.
You have to.
I feel strongly about outsourcing cleaning. I can do it. I just don't want to.
Look, I can't. Like I would be a terrible cleaner.
Really?
Yeah, I've had Nessie since I was like 19.
Wow.
And if you've seen my mum's house as a show house, so I didn't clean until the age I left her. I cleaned for probably a year and it was all a mess. So
wow.
I probably can't. Like I can do the basics. I can clearly
But you know the
spray and
basics.
wipe a bench.
You know the basic function
Not that I don't
of
need
it.
to know that. I don't need to know that.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely don't. That's I look at my shower sometimes and I think, that's such a clean shower. But then I go to and that just assumes it's already done. But then I go to some people's houses and I think, why is your shower so dirty? And I'm like, they don't have a cleaner.
Yeah. Yes.
My
the
shower
worst.
would also look like that. Get
Okay.
a cleaner.
So
Do you reckon this will be the end of every episode? So get a cleaner.
I think so.
Do you reckon there's like a
if
cleaners
there's a
union?
takeaway that I can give for every subject we have, it's get a cleaner.
Do you reckon there's like a cleaners union and start going to give us payback for giving them more clients?
Advertise sponsored by.
Every cleaner around Australia
Yeah.
thanks us.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, I hope that helped.
Yeah. I hope it helped. I feel like it's a really good, I think it's something that people ask about all the time. Like it's something that people are really confused on, how they actually move forward in their business. So I hope it's one that everybody finds helpful.
All right, guys, we will see you.
See you soon, guys. Oh, also,
Oh.
side note, do like and subscribe.
Oh,
Follow us on our social media.
do that.
It's a good time. We put a lot of work into it. This person over here puts a
Yeah.
lot of work into it.
Tell me how good I'm doing.
Yeah.
I need that. If you like the episodes, like my friend Bridget, shout out to you. I know you like that. Tell us
Yeah.
because
Tell us, follow.
remember this is like a job.
Send us
This
messages.
this is just a love job, guys.
yeah.
We just do this for love, no other reason. So
So a little bit of love.
a little bit of love
goes
makes
a long
us
way.
keep doing these
And how
podcasts when we're
comfortable
really busy.
is everybody with bedroom videos? That's all we need to know.
Not bedroom videos.
No. That took a turn. Not, as in podcast filmed lying on a bed
With clothes on.
with clothes on. Just comfortable. We're just talking about comfort. It's a comfort situation. It's not an OnlyFans.
All right, that's where we're going to... Talent Rising OnlyFans edition. Okay, we're wrapping this shit up now.
Okay. Bye, guys.